Our U.S. bishops are praising the Biden administration for its, quote, actions to promote racial equity in housing and criminal justice reform. In a joint statement issued today, Archbishop Paul Coakley, chair of the USCCB's Committee on Domestic Justice and Human Development, and Bishop Shelton Faub, chair of the Bishops' Ad Hoc Committee Against Racism, write in part, quote, the federal government has a critical role to play in overcoming and redressing our nation's history of discrimination, and we hope the administration follows through on the important work of promoting fair housing and human dignity. Reverend Dean Nelson, Executive Director of Human Coalition Action, joins me now on Skype to talk more about the significance of these executive actions. Reverend Nelson, welcome back. Always great to speak with you. President Joe Biden vowed as a candidate to address issues of racial equity in this country. What's your assessment of what you've seen so far and its potential impact on systemic racism here in the United States?
Well, thank you for having me. And I do applaud President Biden for some of the early steps that he has taken. As you mentioned at the top of this news time, we mentioned criminal justice reform, prison reform, and also housing. So those executive orders are good. I want to say, though, that I think we should all be very careful to make sure, because there are only certain limitations that the federal government can do. And my concern is that with some of these executive orders under this administration, the question is, will they continue to push policies that sometimes disregard some of the other important institutions like the family and the church, which provide the foundation for human flourishing? We're completely sometimes will miss the mark if we are unable to help the most vulnerable among us. And these institutions are very important, along with the federal government, to do just that.
Yeah, I know we've talked before about the need to protect the unborn and your work for Black preborn lives. What's your reaction to the pro-abortion actions the administration has taken so far, and what would you like to see?
You know, I think in many ways it was disappointing, but yet expected, what we saw last week with the Mexico City policy, where it kind of, he reversed those positions. Under the former administration, we saw that they certainly affirmed the sanctity of human life. So I'm concerned that President Biden is missing the mark with regard to his Catholic faith. And my hope is that we'll see more restraint come forward with results of the Hyde Amendment and other things that they have suggested that they want to reverse. So my hope is that in this Black History Month that we would help him to be reminded that this abortion industry has targeted the African American community, and that we at Human Coalition and other organizations are trying to do whatever we can to provide help and healing to those in minority communities when it comes to the subject of abortion.
I want to switch gears just a little bit. As we know, Vice President Kamala Harris made history as not only the first woman, but also the first Black person and first South Asian American person to hold that office. And Lloyd Austin becomes the first Black Secretary of Defense. Can we talk about the significance of that, in particular, how it pertains to helping break down barriers in other parts of society?
I think while we could celebrate the American achievement of the first woman vice president who is also a Black American, we must also think about the position and think that we are to hold people accountable in those positions. I think people should remember that while she was serving as the Attorney General in California, she provided over same-sex ceremonies. She also prosecuted David Daleiden, who was the investigative journalist that exposed the horrific baby body parts scandal of Planned Parenthood. So I think that we should take the opportunity to celebrate Kamala Harris and who she is, but I believe that elected officials need to be held accountable, and that's what we at Human Coalition and the Frederick Douglass Foundation intend to do.
Okay, and we're going to leave it right there. Thank you so much, Reverend Dean Nelson. Always appreciate you coming on and getting your analysis.
Thank you so much. God bless you.